solo on the guitar, you've got some problems because in standard tuning, I mean, the Beatles started one tune like that. Yeah, exactly. But it's not very useful, and you have to put fingers down all the damn time. And so what we're looking for is we're looking for a bass note that's on an open string. Please don't play when I'm talking. Thank you. I'm going to be exhausted by the time we're done, and talking over your playing is a problem. So, and you're going to pull some chairs up in these two spaces just so I can see the guy behind you. That'd be fine. We're basically looking for a bass string to lean on that works harmonically in the key we're working in, so we can go up here and play fancy stuff and still have an open bass string to give us a harmonic framework to feel like we haven't lost the bottom, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is treat the guitar like it's in an open tuning when it's in standard tuning, but you can only do this in a couple of keys, which is why we have blues typically played in the keys of E or A, or drop D, which is a partial open tune, where you get one string goes and everything else is in standard. The reason why that's the case is because they give you the strings you need. Now, a lot of blues gets played in the key of E when you're playing solo. And even if you're hearing somebody play an F sharp, as we hear Robert Johnson do now and then, or B, he's got a capo on the guitar and he's still playing E figures and A figures because he's got these strings. The most important notes, if I'm going too fast, stop me. I tend to go too fast. So just say, Scott. The 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord, those are the most important harmonic notes. In the key of E, we have an open E string, which goes on for 4 measures if you play what they call a long 12-bar blues. There's also a short 12-bar blues. Does this cause anyone else to wonder about math? I mean, there are no fractals involved, but the long 12-bar blues, you stay in E for the first 4 measures. And the short 12-bar blues, you go to A right away, and then go back to E. So it's 1 measure of E, 1 measure of A, back to E for 2. And that's the first line. Whereas if it was a long 12-bar blues, you'd stay in E for for that whole first line. So if we stay in it for the whole first line, we've got a whole line of this. And then 4 chords, that's on an open string. You have to fret is the B. It only goes on for 1 measure. So everything else, you got an open bass string to work with. This is like money in the bank when you're learning to play solo blues. So what we're looking for are chord forms that will allow us to have open bass strings and an A or an E shape somewhere else on the guitar, right? And so I want to show you a couple of tricks, and I want you to kind of follow where we go with this, all right? We're going to start in, I'm going to show you some A7 chords, okay? And these are all up on my website, which is, I'll put up here. And if you have a digital camera or a smartphone, you can photograph this board if it's worth photographing when we're done. So just watch this, go try and pay attention to the ideas. Confident that you can go get the dots on the paper some other time. Okay? Okay? Good. I'm giving you permission to not take notes. This is there. And if we take a little D7 chord, in the first position, it looks like this. Right? And we're naming it after the note on the 4th string. We call it the root of the chord in musical terms. So it's a D7. We name it after that position, 1 fret behind that note on the 4th string. Okay? Now if we move that up the guitar and fret the 4th string, or this is also, of course, an open note in the D thing. So when you look at this constellation, instead of looking at it like that, keep in mind that the nut is doing some work for you. And I don't mean yard work. The nut, there's 2 open strings back there that are in the constellation of this chord. And setting that in your mind allows you to move that chord around the guitar and have a 5-string or a 4-string 7th chord anywhere you want to put it, naming it after the note on the 4th string. Now, in order to do this, you make the D7 chord with your little fingers. Act like you broke your index finger, it's in a cast, and you still want to play a D7 chord and make it on the guitar like this. Little finger, index finger out. Index finger out.